Hello everyone. So it's been a while that I have not posted a video here in YouTube. As most of you know that in I what as what I have said in my social media account in my Facebook page, I was very busy in preparing and joining chess tournament, and it really needs a lot of mental preparation, focus, etc. And fortunately, I most of the tournaments that I have joined, I was I am part of the winners or in the top. So I guess it's really worth the sacrifice, you know. So I'm back, and the first game that I'm going to feature is the game of no other than the world champion Magnus Carlsen. So this game is his latest game, and it was played in the Gashimov Memorial against Grischuk. So the game went into e4, and we have this e5. By the way, this is the final round, and we have this knight f3 developing move, knight c6, we have bishop b5, and here we have this knight f6. So this is the Berlin defense, and here we have d3. So the standard line most most of the time is to no it to castle. So this leads to a very well studied endgame, and here we have this line knight f5, then exchange of queen, and you know I guess white has the slight advantage here because white can has a possibility to create a pass pawn in the king side, and unlike this pawn, the black's queen side pawn. And but in exchange, black has two bishops, and I guess it can compensate to the structural damage. So it can, black can have considerable counterplay in this kind of endgame, and this is very well studied line, and most of the time statistically it lead it can lead to many drawing possibilities. So that's why we have this, instead of castling, we have this d3, so to avoid the exchange of queen. And we have this bishop c5 developing move, and here we have c3. By the way, white has a lot of possibilities here. He can castle, he can play knight c3, capture that, and many possibilities. But Carlsen has this c3 move. He's preparing later to play this d4, striking in the center. And we have this castling by Carlsen also. And here we have d6, so opening the diagonal of the bishop. And here we have a very interesting move, bishop a4. So it's kind of very unprincipled move because as we all know, the opening don't move your piece twice unless it's necessary. So most of the time, white will only move that bishop if he is threatened, but here he already moved that, and it has really a lot of logic here because Carlsen is planning to play bishop c2 and then striking into to the d4. Why he wanted to play bishop c2 here? Because protecting this e4 pawn. So here we have knight e7. So maneuvering the knight going to the king side. And here we have bishop c2 and knight g6, and now we have this d4 striking in the center as planned by Carlsen. And here we have bishop b6, and in this position Carlsen played a4, so possibility of moving a5 and gaining some space. So this kind of move is very typical of Carlsen style of play, and later in the game, in the end game part, you will see the move also the h4 and h5. So notice that kind of move and to Carlsen's play. And we have this c6, and for me, maybe you will ask, why not a5? Yeah, that can be a possibility, but I guess the move knight bd2 or knight a3 is, and then knight c4, this bishop or this pawn later can be attacked. So maybe it's not that very um, attractive for Grischuk. So I guess c6 is much better. Also, I can also play d5 if Carlsen will allow that to happen. So we have this capture, d takes e5. We have this knight takes e5, and here we have knight takes e5, d takes e5, and we have this exchange of queen. So now it's very equal. The game is very very equal in game, but look how Carlsen will really grind this kind of, for most player, maybe kind of dead position. Um, but here you will really see the how Carlsen will gain space and slowly grind his opponent, and you will. So let's see now. We have this a5, so starting the grinding and also gaining space, and we have bishop c5, knight bd2, and knight d2, and we have this bishop e6. So Carlsen played rook e1. I guess he wanted to play knight b3. The problem of knight b3 directly, for example, knight b3, then black can capture that knight, then bishop takes, and this pawn is hanging. So we have this rook e1 defending the pawn. We have this b5, very interesting, also gaining space. And here we have this Carlsen plan knight b3, and here Grischuk give up his bishop by playing bishop takes b3, bishop takes b3, and now we have this slight typical advantage for white, as he have these two bishops. And I guess maybe you will ask, why not bishop e7? I guess maybe that can be a possibility, but later maybe white can play a6, then knight a5, attacking, exposing some maybe something like that, or f3, then bishop e3, or bishop c5. So I guess Grischuk is avoiding such kind of play, so he give up that bishop. And here we have this knight g4 attacking this f2 pawn, and Carlsen defend the pawn by playing rook e2, and we have this rook d6 preparing to double the rook. So very logical also. And Carlsen play bishop g5, so preventing that possibility. Of course, black cannot play f6, and here we have king f8, so later he can play f6 now. And here we have this rook a f1. So Carlsen really has a good play of where to put his pieces, and I guess this rook a f1 is, maybe later he can play g3, then f4. That can be a good possibility in the end game. And only Carlsen know, Carlsen really know why he is playing. Yeah, if this also file will be open, then his rook is already in this file, then that can justify his playing of rook a f1. And here we have knight f6 and g3. We have this a6, and then we have this king g2. Now he's preparing for the f4. So this rook f1 is justifiable now. We have this knight d7, bishop c1. So he doesn't like to play f4 right away because there is h6, and maybe black's or white bishop will be trapped, so he's preventing that. We have this bishop a7 preparing to play knight c5, and here we have f4. So now he is striking to play to use this diagonal, I mean this file. And here we have f6, and after that we have this h4. So as I have said a while ago, the move a4, take note of that. And as you will see, and as you can see, the h4 is now he's preparing to grind the position of black. And here we have rook e8 and h4 h5. So now it's very recognizable Carlsen way of playing. And we have this h6, so preventing the possibility of playing that h6. So bishop a2. This is very, I know, when I saw this move, I was very shocked. What's the reason of that move? Or maybe only Carlsen can see that kind of move. But I guess he is preparing to maybe play b4, or he wants to. I really don't see the reason. Maybe if, or preventing, because he knows that the black will play c4. Maybe he wants to prevent the cavalry to c4, and then, but I really don't know. After that c5, then we have this bishop e3, and now we have this capture e takes f4 and f takes f4. This is also shocking, sacrificing the pawn. So yes, if black will not capture that, then it's really dominating for white. He can play bishop d5 later maybe. And now we have this rook takes a4 and bishop b1. So it's now justifiable why he is playing bishop. This bishop diagonal is now looking to dominate this diagonal. We have rook e7, rook e1, rook f e1, and now we have this f4. I guess that's really the mistake in the game. I guess I don't know, and it's really difficult to suggest in this game because black is preparing this threat, bishop g6, and here also she's preparing for such kind of threat. But I guess better was knight b8 than knight c here, because if there is some open check, then maybe this rook is protected by the knight. So I think that's much better. So knight c6, and it's simply king f3 and knight d5. So I guess in this position, white is winning here. Two bishops and very active. This bishop is doing nothing in the game, so it's like one piece up for Carlsen. And here we have this rook d2, so black cannot capture that, has no time to capture that bishop, exchange some pieces. So he is already pinned. And after that, rook d8, and then we have this bishop e4, so covering this bishop and preparing to move rook d1. And we have this rook e d7, rook e d1, and after knight f6 we have capture. Yes, I guess it's also hopeless to play rook takes here, maybe because later maybe he can, after capturing, and then we have this bishop b7, and then this 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 pawn cannot be defended. Although after, for example, um, rook takes, bishop b7, and then f5, then here bishop f4 to follow. So it's difficult for Grischuk in this position. That's why he played knight takes d7, and after rook d6, Grischuk resigned the game. So it's very typical Carlsen grind endgame. So he is really the I guess he's one of the, if not the greatest, is one of the greatest chess player of all time. So I hope you have learned something from our discussion, from my analysis, and if you like, you can share the video, and please do subscribe. Thank you so much, and see you next time.